What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, where today I'm going to be discussing Benny the Butcher's The Plugs I Met 2.
The interviews talking plug talk.
Now, this is the follow-up to his critically acclaimed, the first The Plugs I Met album or EP. There's only 7 songs on there, 20-something minutes. This one is 20-something minutes again, but it's 9 songs. And it's his follow-up album to Burden of Proof, which I thought was one of my favorite albums last year. I think it's one of Benny's best albums that he's put out. I know it's been like a trillion of them, but you know how Griselda does it. They just constantly release albums back to back. I've been listening to this album since Thursday night just to take it in. I know it's only 9 songs, but just to, try to understand it a little bit more than just face value. This is also his album with Harry Fraud, who's been on a run lately with Currency for the most part. I know he has some stuff with Jim Jones and things of that nature. So unlike the first Plugs I Met, which we had different producers, this one is strictly one producer and one sound. So it was interesting. But I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm going to go through some of the tracks, just give my take on it, give my overall review of the album, and yeah, that's it. So the album begins with When Tony Met Sosa, and if you know the first album, it always has like the Scarface kind of cover and things of that nature, so this is just kind of a continuation. And when it first came on, I was like, oh, this is a dope intro, this is a dope way to start the record. Unlike Burden of Proof, this one is strictly more, I can't really say this about Benny, but this one is strictly more just straight drug talk. And if you know me, I love like rappers. Like Pusha T is one of my favorite rappers, and I just enjoy drug talk on raps. Sorry. But this was a perfect intro to the album. I thought the beat was dope. I thought the way he rapped on it was dope. When niggas said they need less trappers and more poets, I kept talking to hustlers that was more heroic. The difference when you rise out the ghetto and come back and grow it. The game broke my heart in 3 places. I never show it. And Benny, to me, Benny is the most, I wouldn't say slept on out of the Griselda camp, but he always raps like he has a chip on his shoulder, just because Conway and Westside is just like so much of the face of the brand, like in the beginning so much, that I think he always felt to me like he raps with that burden on his shoulder. And he always has those clever and witty punchlines that just hit you like, oh man, that was pretty dope. How do you even put that together? Like another one, it was like, y'all the type to change your life when niggas survive shootings. You made it out alive, retired, and drive Uber. I was like, damn. But then I was like, damn, if a man gets shot, he can't change his life and say, man, fuck this street shit, I'm just gonna drive Uber. He like sunned, man, y'all survived shootings and went to go drive Uber. How could you? You're supposed to stay in this life. But overall, I love the beat. It reminds me of some old New York shit. Maybe like some early Dipset, not early, but kind of 2000-ish Mobb Deep. Just the way the production was set up, that Alchemist kind of feel to it. Yeah, so I thought it was just a great intro to the record. The second record we go into is Overall, featuring Chinks, rest in peace. I thought when I first read the track, I was like, Chinks, is that like Chinks? And I could tell it was because his vocals on there sound like they were mixed a little bit different, and it sounded like they placed his verse and hook onto the record like after the fact. But I think it worked out smoothly. I thought it was like they sounded good. And one of the things that I do enjoy about Benny is that like he goes out and collaborate a lot. I know Conway's starting to do that now. Westside he collaborate on his albums, but you hardly hear him just on other people's stuff like that. But Benny brings in like Chinks, or he'll have songs with Push, or songs with coming up 2 Chainz, or things of that nature. So it's just dope that he had a Chinks collaboration on there just to keep the name alive. That beat also is dope. Like that one sounds like a Mobb Deep beat to me as well. I think Harry Fraud is like, I don't know much about him, and I obviously, if you know, let me know, but it has like this Alchemist feel to it. Like you tell he was inspired by that, or Heat Makers in a way, or the old Ye and things of that nature. Like his beats are very lo-fi, fine loop kind of thing. Benny said, I went from whipping O's to late night shows. I was like, see those type of lines. I'd be like, yes, more of those. Whip some more O's in late night shows. He said, I'm trying to catch up to the legends playing chase. Kept my balance, making sure my talent ain't go to waste. And a lot of times on this record, he talks about getting out of. He talks about the street life a lot, but if you listen to it, it's a lot about adversity and overcoming the street life, and just these are just recollection stories. And he also talks about old heads or friends that didn't get out of life and now they're doing life and things of that nature, or they're dead. And he's just, to me, it sounds like he's grateful to have this talent, and he's gonna use it to the best of his ability. So that's what I kind of got from majority of this album, and I just like the hook. I think the hook really matched it perfectly with Chink singing it, and just because also I think that one of Big Benny's weaknesses are his hooks. Like I don't think like the hooks on here. Like I don't think his strong suit is his hooks. His hooks are, I mean, his verses are the things that his subject matter is the thing that drive the records for me with him. The next record is Plug Talk, which is the one with 2 Chainz, and he was like, interviews talking plug talk. Got my name off of drug talk. And like that's the hook of the record. It's catchy, and the beat is one of the first ones on the album, or possibly just the only beat on the album that has like a up tempo, faster hi hat that could possibly be in that trap lane. And I think 2 Chainz fit the record perfectly. Like he was the perfect pick for this record. So when he came on, I was like, yeah, this. As soon as the track came on, I was like, yeah, this is a 2 Chainz beat. And I didn't know. Well, I didn't. Of course, I didn't know, but I didn't think. Nothing in my head was like, I can't wait to hear Benny the Butcher and 2 Chainz record. Like I never thought that, but listen to the record. I'm glad they actually collab with each other and it came out. The ending product was actually good. I only do it for the gangsters. Niggas telling me I saved it. $250,000 off a tour overseas. I might have to learn another language. You the richest on your team, but you still work the hardest. Make changes. And he has another line somewhere. I'm not sure if it's on this song, but he says like, something like you ain't rich, but you just surround yourself with broke people. Something like everybody in your clique is just broke or some shit like that, and that don't really make you a boss. I thought that was a dope line as well. Plug talk like a Tesla, a ball hard Uncle Fester, and did this with no effort. Put you in the hospital, put logos all over your stretcher, glide on them like Drexler, slide on them like home plate. Like 2 Chainz always does that. Like he'll ride the beat and do like Drexler, stretcher, blah blah blah, and then he'll change it. The last bar be another word, so he'll say like, I glide on them like Drexler, slide on them like home plate. He's like something like he's selfish, but he'll tell you happy birthday on the wrong day. I was like, well, that's just mean. Just don't say anything to me if you just want to not know my birthday and just say the wrong shit. But dope record, man. That's one of my favorites on the record. That one that goes in to Live By It. And again, that one sounds like R.I.P. to Prodigy, but that sounds like Prodigy should have been on there. Absolutely. You shot up a crowd and thought you were gangster, but hit a kid because killers don't go to shooting ranges. I was like, yep, that's usually how it works. Like lines like that is like quotables. Like, yep, that's usually how it works. My neighborhood was super dangerous. A record deal could get you lit, but a robbery can make you super famous. What? What? Said I get a drop on a nigga, and it comes from the hose first. We follow the lead first. That's what we call homework. You see the dope going to lead you to a stash spot. When you see the padlock, you know it's a jackpot. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Like those lines like that, bars on here was just like, this shit just too easy for them. Well, him now. Like it's just, you could tell when a nigga just in his bag and like spitting and like he just gives you bars like that you could just tell it's coming natural and easy at this point. Like it's little to no effort with those. Talking back, and the way that drum pattern is, again, I think he picked the guest perfectly, because the way the drum pattern is, it reminds me of the All the Way Up drum pattern, even though it's not like very club like the things around it, but the drum pattern is the same. So it made it perfect for somebody like Fat Joe to come on there, and he just fit perfectly. Like he slid right in. And I think those OG New York rappers love the Griselda people because they show them that old New York feel isn't dead. So like if you heard Fat Joe on the West Side album, like you could tell he was just excited. They doing the ad libs, like the gun ad libs on the records and things of that nature. It's just pretty cool to see the older, the OGs connect with the young Gs and just kind of pass that torch in a way. Cool record. Yeah, that's the line. He says, "You ain't a boss. Everybody in your team just broke." I thought that was the line I was talking about earlier. Fat Joe comes in there with some bars. I was like, okay, Fat Joe. He said, you've been taking Big L since the Enemy. For those that don't know, Big L, Enemy. That might have went over some people's head. He said, and watch it spread like the Wuhan virus, doing dirty. Hold on, he said, watch it spread like the Wuhan virus, do him dirty on the low like Wu-Tang Cyrus. I was like, ooh, wee. Now that's a nasty bar. Even though he had to come out and he apologized for the Wuhan virus at the time, like that line. He was like, this is the way that it was presented in the media. I was like, you didn't have to really apologize for that. We get it. It's rap. Like, you don't have to apologize for every single bar that you do. But that doing dirty on the low like Wu-Tang Cyrus, that's a bar. That would have made it like into the double XL bar of the month kind of thing. I'm dating myself, but if you knew about that, that'd probably been in there. No introduction. Even though I like this song, this is where the album, and again it's only 9 records, but this is when the album starts to, it's like just a low point, turn into a low point, right? So I still like this song. But at this point, I'm starting to get tired of the beats, like the repetitive beat sounds. Like, I love Burden of Proof because Hit Boy is so versatile with his beats. Like, he gave Benny some stuff that could be considered like the old Rockefeller sound, and it was just different, you know, for the time. But the Harry Fraud beats, like, they kind of just resemble each other after a while. Like, this song could be that song could be this song. So by the time I got to No Introduction, I started feeling that lag, that listener's lag, just the listener's lag and the subject matter. Because when you have the subject matter and you just consistently talk about that kind of thing, it kind of drags on. Like, that's why it's also great that it is only 9 records, because you could get exhausted just by the subject matter. But he still has some lines on there. He was like, I promised to sign a letter to God, but I broke it when I came home selling that Mexican Raw. It's like, damn, that was tough. That goes into longevity. It's a cool record. It's nice to see French Montana and Jim Jones just squash their beef and be on the same record with each other. Me personally, I'm just not a French Montana music fan at all. Like, I just don't think he's good. So Jim Jones, on the other hand, has been on a fucking tear for probably the past 2 years, just from his albums alone and features, that, like, you could tell it's admiring when you can see, like, because I've been looking at Dipset since I was a fucking pup. So, like, I've seen Jim Jones when he wasn't the best rapper, like, not even close, to this point where it's just like, oh shit, like, Jim Jones is really spitting at this point. And yeah, I just appreciate that. Even the way his verse went on until after the beat ran off, and you could tell he was freestyling a bit at the end. I just thought that was cool. And I think, for the most part, Benny was the catalyst for some of the featured artists to get their shine, which kind of is always a thing that bugs me with a rapper when they do that. Like, all right, don't just keep getting outshined by people. I know you're giving them the alley-oop, but I still got to remember this is your album. Like, this isn't the Chronic. Like, this is like, you gotta keep that up. And not saying that he had bad bars or anything. It's just that, you know, it gets overlooked in the shuffle sometimes. Survivor's Remorse, good subject matter. But I feel like I heard him talk about this subject before better, and on better production, probably, especially on Burdens of Proof. So it's just a cool record. But like, again, what I said, like, it's starting to drag on towards the end. And Thanksgiving was the first record that he released as a single. I didn't listen to it because I wanted to, with the Griselda family, like, they're not single artists for me. So a single from them wouldn't make me want to go listen to the album. I'd rather listen to their music all in sequence, and then, you know, just enjoy it that way. Like, I think singles, like, from them would turn me off. Pause. But I'm glad I didn't listen to this song. Like, it's a cool record, but if I would have heard this, I probably been like, I probably would have been weary about listening to the album. So, and he saved it for the last record, which is, it's cool. Let me get into my best songs. I'm going to go with When Tony Met Sosa, Overall, Plug Talk. And as you can see, those are the first 3 records on the album. Like, I know somebody going to say, but that's only the first. But I think those three are cool. Like, he could have just made this like 5 records, to me. But yeah, those are my favorite. Worst song, I'm going to go with Thanksgiving. That song really did nothing for me. It's not bad. It just really didn't do anything. It didn't inflict any emotion whatsoever. Best line, he says, you know the rules. If you move backward, then you do calendars. For street niggas, I'm the new catalyst. But who would have fathomed it? My heroes in federal sweatsuits and New Balances. I was like, damn. I think that's like on the first record. Like, he went so hard on that first song that I was just like, I expected that more throughout the whole album. Rating wise though, for Plugs I'm at 2. I'll probably give it I'll probably give it a 3. 3 fucks out of 5. Yeah, I can't go higher than that for this. Sorry.
When niggas said they need less trappers and more poets.
Final thoughts. It's a cool album. Like I can't say that it's bad. It's just cool. Like I think I'm glad there's only 9 records because it does drag out towards the end. The subject matter. I think the beats itself is a little bit lackluster. Like none of the beats stood out to me. Like none of the beats were really dope. Like they were just cool. Like they're cool beats. I get it. You gotta think I'm coming off Burden of Proof, so those beats and those raps and those songs was just so great that anything after that it feels lackluster. Maybe I would have preferred if he worked with a couple more producers just because it was the follow up to the plugs I'm at, and just to follow that aura. But you know the rule. Part 2s rarely live up to the first. Like the sequels never live up to the first album. I'm looking forward to what else they have to offer this year, and I'm not saying that I want them like Benny to change his subject matter, because like he said on Thanksgiving, or was it, I think it was Thanksgiving, he was just basically saying like, if you don't, you know what I'm rapping about. If you don't like what I'm rapping about, don't listen to my shit. And I agree, but it's also a point where the music can be more, it could be more. So I'm looking forward to the next one and whatever Griselda has for us down the line in 2021. So I'm Tatum. As always, fuck this review. Peace.